G'day all, and welcome to Dad versus Son. I know I've been away for a while. I've been just trying to get things put together, get my life back on track, and we're going to have a go at Downfall, Conquest of the Third Reich from GMT Games, and we're going to try and do the full campaign. I know I had other things going on before all the trouble before Christmas, and I've just had to give up on that at the moment. So my apologies for that. My heart's not in going back to that stuff at the moment, so I'm going to try something different. I've been watching some wonderful playthroughs of this from quite a few people, and as usual, I've forgotten all their bloody names, and I apologise, but there's some great ones out there. One bloke, I can't remember his name, I'm terribly sorry. He's completed his episode 30, I believe, which I've been watching, which is great. And he's helped to consolidate some of the extra rules and stuff like that. I will still maybe make errors. It's me, but I'll try to do my best. So I've got it all set up. The initiative track is up here. So we have the Soviets, then the Western powers, then OKH, and then OKW, and then the weather marker up there. I've got all the reinforcements up there on the turn track. The first turn is snow in all three weather zones, or weather periods, I should say, except for, of course, down here in the desert area, where it says desert, all spaces in Egypt and Libya are fair weather at all times. So that is good. So that gives us Libya and Egypt. It doesn't say French North Africa, though. So that's a interesting thing. But we'll see how that goes. We've set up the orders tracks as per the book for OKW and the Western powers, and then up top there for OKW and the Soviets. We have the Soviet and OKW force pool there, and we have the Western and OKH force pools down here. I have not seeded the order or the action track yet. We start with one victory point on the Allies' side, along with armour reserves of 1 and transports of 2. So that is that. What else have we got? The event cards are set up as per again. So we have the pending one is Ural's Industry. The current event is Continuation War, and King Michael is the discarded. So we have one Allied air, which is down here in Benghazi, as per the setup. We have one OKH air, which is set up here as per the setup, and we have 2 Soviet air as per the setup as well. And the Soviets, if they are the one activating, have a +1 to their die rolls at the moment. Faction cards. For actions, the Soviets have Operation Uranus, or Uranus, whichever you prefer, which will help. It gives us a free attack, conducting a single attack with armoured or shock, and add 2 to the attack roll if the weather is fair or snow, and of course we're in snow straight up. We have a partisan activity, combat with the Soviet unit if the defending hex is in a country containing 1 or more partisans. The only partisan out at the moment for the Soviets is over here in Serbia, so that's not going to do anything really. We have a winter warfare, combat during snow. If the Soviets are attacking, treat the weather as if it was fair. If the Soviets are defending, treat the weather as if it is mud. The eligibility of combat units to attack is not affected, so it just helps to slow things down a bit. We have Stalingrad Front South, a headquarters card, or 4th Ukrainian. So turns 1 to 3, it is Stalingrad Front, which will give them a +1 to their strength and a +1 die roll modifier. And then we have the North Caucasian Front, which is any attack south on or south of Hex Row 29, which is this hex row here. So that'll help down in this sort of area down here. So that's what they have. Over here I've set up the cards. Sorry about the glare just here. So Soviets also do OKW, so I got a little bead here with W so I don't forget. And Western factions do OKH. So of course Soviets against OKH, and Western faction, which is good, Western against W. So we have the Oberkommando here, which is army, and Oberkommando Wehrmacht, which is their armed forces as such. OKW does not start with a card. OKH starts with a light artillery card, which is for Axis minor forces or fortress units. And the Westerns start with an armoured brigade, which is good for Canadian, Commonwealth or British units. So again, what we're looking at is down in the North Africa campaign. So in snow weather, they'll get a +1 or a -1, depending on if they're defending sort of thing. It's a lot better for a fine weather. So that's what we have there with their draw piles, and the other cards that don't go in yet, that start from turn 2 and onwards, I've just left up here. With the event deck, we also pull these cards out, and they don't go in until we're told to put them in, so they're just sitting there pretty. We've got the new turn, event procedure, action round, initiative costs cards there as well if we need to look at them. We have the land combat table here, the naval interception, all the modifiers and so forth, and how we go about it with our little dice tray. So we've got, Western faction, the Germans and the Soviets ready to go. And the only other thing I've done is I've left these markers for whether these aircraft for the Germans are OKW or OKH just here, rather than putting them all the way up there in the marker box. And the same is I've left all these down here as well. I don't see the sense in putting them all up the top there. The only thing I think I haven't done is I just didn't put the 10 partisans down here in the Western force pool. So we'll just grab them. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, righto. And 5 more. and that's it. So we've just got the isolation markers and the control markers still in the counter tray. So that's that. Righto. So what are we trying to achieve? And I'm sure you've all sick of hearing this from everybody else, but just to get it clear in my mind, the whole idea is this has got nothing to do with the Germans as such. The Germans are there as speed bumps. The whole idea is we have the Soviets trying to get as much of Europe as they can, and we have the Western powers trying to get as much of Europe and, again, North Africa as they can. And depending who has the most at the end will define the winner, whether it's the Western Allies or the Soviets. And that's why the Western powers control OKH and the Soviets control OKW. And then we have the minors with the Romanians, Bulgarians, and so forth, and the Italians and stuff like that. So that is that. So let us get into it. We have to seed the track. So I don't know how bored you want to get. Do you want me to see it done to start with at least? And I suppose at least you'll know that I'm not cheating too much. I'm not looking into it. And we start with the first one, which is a OKW. And then we get a Western powers move and attack, or deploy and attack. A recruit for the Western powers. Partisans for the Western powers. OKH has got a deploy order or redeploy order. A move order is the easiest way to put it. And they've got an attack order. We finally get some recruits for the Soviets. We get a command failure, which can go for either side. We get OKH, OKW headquarters. And lucky last, Soviets don't have much at the moment. And we get a material shortages. And OKH has already had material shortages, so that will be that. So the Soviets have a choice. They can either recruit using this one here, and a recruit will cost them 16, or they have a attack with shock and armoured in their planning box. So realistically, the first thing the Soviets want to do is to try and isolate Stalingrad if they can. So when they do attack into Stalingrad, there's no place to retreat. And that would be the best thing to happen, rather than them screwing around and attacking and then them being able to retreat and all the rest of it. So that is the main thing they want to do. Now, attacks, you have to nominate all attacks that you're going to do before you carry out any of the attacks. So how do we want to go about isolating this guy? And the easiest way would be if we punch somebody into here. If we can punch these guys out and get them to either retreat or we blow them away, and what we have is we have the first Romanian and a garrison unit. So there's only 3 there, and that's a conscript unit, so it's not worth anything, and it's clear ground, which doesn't affect anything either. So we could punch into there with these 3 and just punch this straight out, or we could just try with these 2 units because we're going to have air superiority. We've got armor and all the rest of it. So this is going to be our first attack. I don't think we can afford to go after Stalingrad at the moment. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to take the 3 attack. We're only going to do 1 attack. So this goes up onto the track. This is for shock and armor. So that goes there, and that's 5 initiative. So let's come up here. And we go from 19 to 24, like that. And then we can carry out this attack. So, let's see. We will have second guard as our primary attack unit. So that's 2 strength. So our column is 2. Now let's have a look at the modifiers. So we have 2 for the primary attacker. We get +1 per flanking attacker. So we'll have this bloke as a flanking attacker is 1, and this guy as a flanking attacker as 2. So that gives us up to 4. We don't have any shock units in this. +1 per armoured unit in snow, and we are in snow, so we have 1, 2, 3, which brings us up to 7. +1 per non-German armoured unit. No. In fair, +2 per German unit in fair. Both sides. If you have more elite badges, and we do, that is a +1. Takes us up to 8. -1 if you have more conscript badges, and they do have a conscript. Now, I've had people go, well, you can't go any further than 8 because that's your main column. Other people go, okay, we're at 8, but now we're actually at 9. So even though we can only roll on the table up to 8, I still think we should be able to count up as far as we can, but we can only roll as high as 8. So that's the way I'm going to play. If I'm really, really wrong, then please let me know, but that's the way we're going. +1 if at least 1 German combat unit. Well, that is a German. Is classified as a combat unit, a security force. And I think it is, so go down 1. And +1 if at least 1 Western combat. No Western combat. Defender only. Are they in a port or city? No, they're not in hills or forests, swamps or mountains. They're not defending across a river because we have these 2 attacking into here. This is the only one coming across, but as long as we have 1 unit attacking that's not across a river, it doesn't matter. There's no beach and there's no hex side. So that is it. We are on the 8 column. Now, dice roll modifiers, straight up. Do we want to play a card? And I don't think we do. We already get a +1 for this card. So we're at +1. The OK H could play this card, which would give them a +1, but I just don't think it's worthwhile at the moment, so they're not going to worry about that. No fortress. -2 if weather is snow. Okay, so we could play... In fact, we could do this. Ooh. No, I don't want to do that at the moment. So we could play this card. We could have played this card during snow, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. -2 if the weather is snow. So we're down to -1 on the die roll. We have S superiority, which is a +1. So we go back to 0. No airdrop marker. Defending unit's not isolated or anything else. So that's it. Right. So we come down here. We're rolling on the 8 column. Over here with no die roll modifier. Soviets are attacking. And roll a 6. And a 6 is a 1-4G. And a G is on turns 1 to 6, reduce defender hits by 1 if all are German. They're not all German, so it's going to be 4 losses. Right, 1-4. So we have to take 1 loss. We're going to take it on this guy, and it's got to be an armor loss. So he just goes straight over that way, like that. And they have to take 4 losses. Now, they can take 2 losses, up to half of their losses in retreats. So they're better off probably keeping this unit. So they retreat 2. They go 1, 2 to here, and then they have to take 2 losses. So I think we'll get rid of the security force, and he's only got... Sorry, I don't know why I'm turning him over. He goes down to 1, and this unit is gone. And then we can advance after combat up to 2 units. So we'll come in like that. Air stays there. We might leave him there. So whether it's to bring this guy up or bring this guy up, I think that's all. Well, he could be attacked by them. So I don't want that. So we'll bring this unit up as well. Oh, this is why I hate these. So that one's infantry. And the air stays there. And that is that for the Soviets. And then we go on to the next. We've gone for 23 minutes. That's, I think, long enough. And we will call that the first episode or whatever else. And when we come back, it will be the Western Allies' turn. So take care, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.